Hi guys, Sophie is 8 months old. Physical development first. She weighs 18 pounds, 3 ounces, which actually isn't a ton of growth. Last month she was 18 pounds, so that's like 3 ounces heavier than in her 7-month update. She is still wearing 9-month size clothing. It fits her pretty well, except the pants are, some of the pants are too short because she has long legs. She's always fit into the size clothing that her age is supposed to be, which is interesting. Other physical things. So this month she actually got 4 new teeth. 4 in 1 month. She got the top 4, these 2, and then the 2 on the side there. And I will insert a picture of that because she absolutely doesn't let you see them. If I try to move her lip, she won't show you. Her hair is starting to get blonder. I don't know if you can see, but at the roots, like the stuff that's growing in, it's really very blonde. When she was born, it was dark brown, and as it grows in, it's getting blonder. And her dad had the same kind of hair, so he's got brown hair now, and when he was a baby, around the age of like 1, I'd say, his hair turned blonde, and it was blonde for a couple years in the beginning of his life. So I think that she might have her dad's hair. And speaking of her dad's hair, she has his curls for sure. I've got straight hair, and her hair is getting nice and curly, especially when it gets really humid. It gets super curly, and it's pretty cute. Her eye color is another interesting thing about her. At this point, she has hazel eyes. I have blue eyes, my husband has brown, and I kind of just assumed that they would be one or the other. As they started, you know, they turned from the newborn blue and started changing, I just assumed they were going to get brown. But they still haven't turned all the way brown, and so I'm starting to wonder, are we going to have a hazel-eyed child? In some light, it looks blue, some light it looks green, other lighting it looks brown. Really, her eyes are beautiful. They just have like a mix of all different colors, and she gets lots of comments from strangers. Oh, beautiful eyes. So some of the things that she did this month. Last month I said it was her month of mobility because she just took off and she started crawling just like a week before she turned 7 months. Well, her mobility has just increased. That's all she's been focused on. So as soon as she learned how to crawl, I'd say she was crawling for about a week, and pretty shortly after she turned 7 months old, she was already pulling herself up on furniture, which is what she's doing right now. So you can see her head. Yes, hi, you just want to walk? So she started pulling herself up on furniture, and at that point, that's all she wanted to do. She's always been that way. As soon as she hits one developmental milestone, she wants to move on to the next thing. She's like not content just doing that new skill. She wants to learn the next new skill. At this point, she is definitely cruising. She, you know, takes steps around furniture. If she's holding on, she'll step around. And recently, she has even like let go a couple times of the furniture and sort of stood there, and I don't think she knows what she's doing yet. Like, she's not doing it intentionally to like stand, but I have caught her a few times unaware that she's like not holding on to anything, and she's just kind of balancing. Other cute things that she's done this month, she started waving bye-bye. And we actually got a picture of it the very first time she did it, because it was when my mom and one of her friends were visiting, and when they were leaving they were saying bye, and they wanted to take a picture of Sophie, and she happened to wave bye just at that moment. So I'll insert that here so that you can see what I'm talking about. It's really cute. She just sort of sticks her hand out like this, and it's really sweet. And she waves bye to my husband in the morning when he goes to work. Speaking of that, another thing that she's started doing, she has learned that when she hears the door, it means that my husband is home from work. And so no matter where we are in the apartment, when she hears that door open, she turns her head, she goes, like, she looks excited, and then she starts crawling like top speed beelines for the door to see my husband, and she goes right up to him, and then will pull up on his legs, you know, like sort of use his legs to pull up, and then she goes like this, and it's really, really sweet to see that she just gets so excited when her dad gets home from work. This past month has been just one of exploring her surroundings. She loves exploring things in the house that aren't necessarily meant for her. So I'd say, you know, 4 or 5 months old, she was into her toys, and now she doesn't really enjoy the things that are meant for her. She wants to find things that aren't toys. So she loves going over to the bookshelf and pulling off books. She loves going into the kitchen and pulling, you know, whatever she can out of cabinets or off of the shelving. I try to intentionally put things there that I'm okay with her, you know, taking down, that can't break, can't hurt her, and I purposely put things kind of on her level that I'm okay with her taking out, because it makes her feel like she's accomplished something, like, ooh, I found something. And just anything, like remote controls, DVD cases, shoes. She loves to go to our shoes and try to grab those, and that's actually the one place where I'm trying to teach her the concept of no. I've chosen one place to be consistent where I always say no. And just sort of starting to teach her what no means, and I think that she's starting to get it. So she'll crawl over to the shoes and, you know, reach her hand out to grab it, and if she picks up the shoe, I say no, and she looks at me immediately like this, puts down the shoe, and as soon as she puts the shoe down, I say, good job, Sophie, good job listening to mommy. You're so good to listen to mommy. And she smiles, and I feel like it's kind of catching on. I don't know, but the whole point is just to start slowly, pick one thing that I'm consistent with where I say no, and at least at this point it seems to be working. Funny story about that, there was a moment where I was trying to read an email on my phone, and she was trying to get my attention. She was like around me and like pulling up on my shoulder and going, and I was being bad, and I was trying to read this email. And anyway, she leaves at one point. She starts crawling in the opposite direction, and once I realize that she's crawled away, I look back, and she's over at the shoes, like looking at me, picking up a shoe, like, and I go, Sophie, no, and she immediately dropped it, and I wonder, it really seemed like she was doing that to get my attention. She couldn't get my attention, and so she went over to the shoes and did that, and I got the sense that she knew exactly what she was doing. Another really cool thing that happened this month is that she said dad. So last month her first word was mama, and that was kind of the thing that she would say all the time. She'd mama, 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 mama. Well, this month dad became her obsession, and she started saying Abba, which is how you say dad in my husband's language. And so she kind of figured out that she could say that, and then that became the new thing that she said all the time, and she would say it when my husband was there, or she'd see him somewhere in the house, and then she'd go Abba, 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 and start crawling towards him. And I got that on tape, so I'll insert a little clip of her saying Abba.
Abba, Sophie. Hi, Sophie. Abba? Abba, Abba, Abba.
So now she says Abba, and she says Mama. Oh, Mom, Mama, Mama. And besides that, she just loves experimenting with her voice, like what she's capable of doing. She makes a lot of sounds, and it seems like she's talking. Sometimes when I've got her in my boba carrier and I'm walking around with her, she just just like a constant sort of I don't know, just chattering, making sounds like that, really cute sounds. And then she'll eventually fall asleep. It's like she hums herself to sleep or something. It's pretty cute. So as most of you know, I recently moved to the town where my parents live. So I live like about 25 minutes away from them. So we still get to see my mom very often, and she is definitely growing to just love her grandma. And whenever we get to her house, it's really sweet because I'll walk in the door and my mom will be there, and Sophie, when she sees my mom, she smiles and she reaches out to go to her, which is saying something because Sophie doesn't like to go to anybody. She's definitely wants to be held only by mommy and daddy, and now by grandma. Grandma is definitely her third favorite person, and then grandpa she's also okay with. He can hold her and she's fine, but she still would rather be with grandma, and it's really cute to see that relationship blossoming and just to see how comfortable she is with my mom. Alright, so I want to do a little update on her sleep this month because we have been doing some sleep training with her. This is the month where we've been introducing her to her crib. I don't know if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that the sleep issue was kind of the hardest thing for us from the very beginning. From the time she was a newborn, she was always super sensitive to being away from us, and anytime we try to put her down, even when she was in the hospital like brand new, she would wake up and just scream, and she couldn't really be that far away from us. Well, this last month, we've finally been in our new apartment, and one of the things we decided to do when we moved here was to officially transition her to her crib. She is still in our bedroom, and she still wakes up at least once and sometimes twice in the middle of the night, but I'm happy to say that she is sleeping in her crib, and I am so thrilled about that. So at first what I was doing wasn't really working. What I tried was I would do her bedtime routine, and then I would nurse her to sleep, and I'd let her fall asleep nursing and then try to put her in her crib. Now, any of you who've done that before know how tricky that is, and really it's not a great idea, because when you put a baby to sleep that way, anytime they wake up, they're going to be like, hey, where's mom? You know, it's like if they fall asleep nursing, they want to continue doing that. So I tried that for a while, and it really wasn't working because I'd end up having to go back into the room 3-4 times in the evening to get her to go back to sleep, nurse her again until she'd fall back to sleep. Finally, out of desperation, I searched for some different, solutions on sleep training, and I came across the Ferber method, which I initially I didn't like the idea of cry it out, but after doing some research, I realized that it wasn't exactly cry it out in a mean way. The way you do the Ferber method is you do their bedtime routine, get them all wound down and ready for bed. In my case, that's a bath, and then I put a little baby massage, get her pajamas on, take her into the bedroom, turn on the sound machine. I still nurse her, but instead of letting her fall asleep, I take her off when she's very drowsy, her eyes get heavy and it's like she's about to fall asleep. I take her off, and then I put her into her crib while she's still awake. And what you do when you are starting this method is you put them down. Inevitably they're going to cry a little bit or fuss, more of a fussy type of cry when you leave them. And you let them cry for 3 minutes, and after 3 minutes you go back in and comfort them again, put them back down in the crib, leave again, and then you let them cry for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes, if they're still not asleep, you go back in, and each time you go back in and then out again, you increase the amount of time that you stay out of the room before going back in. Anyway, that method worked surprisingly well, and it wasn't that difficult for us. I thought that there would be a lot of screaming and crying and it would be awful, and it really wasn't. It's just a matter of teaching her that this is what we do at bedtime and this is where she sleeps. And it worked surprisingly well. And I find that when I do it that way, if she doesn't fall asleep nursing and I do it the Ferber method way, where I put her down, even if it means she cries for 30 to 60 seconds when I leave the room, she stays asleep a lot better. So that's what we've been doing this month, and I'm happy to say that it's working. Definitely those 4 teeth that she got this month got in the way of that, so it made sleep training a little difficult anytime she'd be cutting a tooth. But that's to be expected. No matter, even if you have the best sleeping baby ever, anytime they're teething, sleep is going to be disturbed. So that's my sleep update. Really quickly, I don't have a ton to say about nursing, except that it's still going well. She's still nursing on demand. Aside from nursing, she's also eating solids. She eats pretty much, what we eat, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I don't have any restrictions really on what I give her. Some of her favorite things are, she actually prefers savory stuff to sweet. I was surprised about that. I thought she would love fruit the most because most babies I've known love sweet fruit, but she actually likes savory things. Her 2 favorite foods that she will always eat are either scrambled eggs or cheese, which is really funny because when I was pregnant, every single day of my pregnancy, I had eggs for breakfast, scrambled eggs. and cheese is another one of my favorites. So it's funny that she likes those two things so much because I definitely ate those very regularly when I was pregnant. So I think that that's the substantial stuff that I want to talk about for the update, and other little things that I want to include but don't really, you know, it's not worth talking about them individually. I will just include at the end of this video, I'll put footage of cute little things that she's done, little video clips that I've gotten of her. Like, for instance, she loves playing the piano, and very recently she discovered that she can reach the keys by standing up and, you know, going like that. So I'll include cute videos at the end of this with other things that I didn't talk about. So I guess that's it for the update. Sophie is 8 months old. I can't believe that she's already 8 months old. Kenny, look over there. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? That's Sophie. Yeah, that's Sophie. Alright guys, so thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video. Bye! You say bye-bye? Bye-bye! Can you say bye? Bye-bye! Bye-bye! Can you say bye? Bye-bye! Bye! Mm.
Boop.